You better have seasoning, aye. Got the way that you look, man, I know it ain't no easy thing, aye. My sauce and my mix and blend, we are seasoning.
Cool, welcome back guys to APS Podcast. I'm Sonny, I got Leo, J and Marlon with me. And lads, I want to put this across here. You know, everyone's got that one brethren that just constantly in and out of love, in and out of relationships. Oh, bro, broke up with my girl. Yo, fam, I met another girl. Yo, I'm in love. Oh, broke up. I wanted to ask, realistically, how many times do you reckon you can seriously, deeply fall in love in your life?
I say maybe like once or twice.
And the reason I put that across is, are you, and obviously we can only say it from a male perspective because we're all males here, but are you looking at a girl differently if she's telling you, I've been in like 5 serious relationships and I've been in love, as opposed to I've been in 1 or 2?
But let's focus on the question, because I always think, you know, when they say, she's the one or he's the one, they're always the one until they're not the one anymore. Yeah. So I feel like you can only really be in love once, but it just depends on what you attach to that word.
Okay.
So like, because there's infatuation, there's lust, there's love. Like, it depends on what you attach to that emotion. But I feel like if you're with someone forever and you have kids, you do all of that, that's your soulmate, quote unquote. Technically, that you can only really count that as your only love. If that makes sense.
Alright, but watch this though. I think you can love people in different ways, but that true hardcore 90s R&B stuff, I think maybe once or twice. I think you might get, my experience, you might get the first one, but it's the first one, and it catches you off guard, and sometimes that don't end well, and your first heartbreak, all of that. So you're now aware of that deep level of love, and then you learn from it, and then I think you may get one more after that.
So you think that's the second one is just it's still love, but just a different type of love?
It's mature love, because I believe you now know a lot more. You know how to love better. You know what it feels like. You know how to nurture it. You know how to grow it, in my opinion. So I think you can, but I don't think you can have. Remember, there's kids. So we're talking this relationship.
However,
all right. I'm gonna speak relationship wise. I think you'd have the first one so you're aware of it, so you know what it is. Heartbreak, and then from that one you grow, and then you fall in love again, and it has a lot more. You can navigate it better.
Does there have to be? You repeated the word heartbreak. So does there have to be heartbreak in order for you to learn?
No, not necessarily, but they're the realest lessons.
Yeah, I think it's inevitable in your first couple of relationships.
But then, so how do you separate love and infatuation? Because the whole point of when you're infatuated, you're in it, and you think you love this person to death, but really, you just think you do.
I would say,
let me quickly jump in on that one, because we're going to go off in a tank, like we're going to spiral, and there's so much.
There's so many directions.
Yeah, there's so many directions we're going, but I kind of want to add my little 2 pence in and say, I think it's actually about our understanding of love. What is love?
What do you attach to it exactly?
So, and that's why I wanted to jump in at that point, because there are many people who think love is a connection that is non-physical. There are many people that think love can be attributed to what we actually might understand as lust. There are many people that might think love is attachment, and familiarity. So I think the question of how do we define love? What is it that we're actually saying love is before we can even get
have
into
that conversation?
I think love will mean different things to different people.
100%.
So you can't have a one way.
So then in saying that, how can we say that?
How would you have that conversation?
Fall in love.
The reason I brought up the question is because, like, you know, for example, like, I think, you know, the word love, the term love, we put a lot of emphasis on it. A lot of things we attribute to it that shouldn't.
It's been diluted.
Yeah, like the way we look at it. I think, like, for example, it's a feeling in it. Love is a feeling, and then happiness is a feeling. But I've been happy more than once in my life.
Is love a feeling, or is love just what we describe or define?
No, it's definitely a feeling.
Yeah, it's
but I'm saying as in like.
But that's what I'm saying.
It's not only a feeling.
I'm saying.
I wouldn't say it's solely a feeling.
When you say to someone, I love you,
in its essence, it's a feeling. But I'm saying that we've attributed so many things to it to build it up and say it's this thing that you can only have once really in your life.
But then watch this though. From a book I read, it's called "Keep the Love On" or something like that. The man said about he's married to his wife for years, and then he said that after a certain time had gone past. He knew he loved her, but then he knew that everything at that point was a choice.
That's not Big Bro, is it?
Who?
Big Bro.
No.
I just want to find
Actual
something.
book.
Yeah.
He told me about the book.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, no, that's not
your brother.
Yeah, no, that's he actually got another book coming out still. But no, this is just, we pass each other books all the time. So this one, anyway, my point is that he was saying how love is a choice, and now when we're talking, I think that you could say that love is also a level of acceptance, because for you to say I love you, you're accepting that person for who they are as they are.
Can I just read something? So I read this at my mum's wedding, right? I want to get on the kind of faith route, but it's 1 Corinthians 13, yeah? And this is what I read, and when you said what you said, I thought this, in terms of a definition. So love is patient, love is kind, it does not envy, it does not boast, it is not proud, it does not dishonor others, it is not self-seeking, it is not easily angered, it keeps no record of wrongs, love does not delight in evil but rejoices with the truth, it always protects, always trusts, always hopes, always perseveres. So all of those descriptive words that were just used, how do you then, so that's from the Bible, right? But if we sit here, like Leo said, and try and define it, our definition is going to be probably way different to that.
Yeah, of course.
Because we're in this era, we probably attach love with, I love her because she's funny and because she holds me down and because she's financially stable. And we just go through that list, that new era list, which realistically, like I said before, how do you differentiate between what love is and what you think love is?
Let me jump in. I genuinely is, and you man will know, I'm not the religious type.
Yeah.
But that definition for
Makes
me
sense.
sounds like like what I would attribute love to.
Right.
Truthfully. So if we're talking about we're saying how many times can you genuinely fall in love?
Yeah.
I think if we're using that as a definition, think about the relationships you have with the people you hold the closest to you. Jay, your mum, me, my mum, all of us, our parents, and in essence, we almost have like a selfless love. It's a thing where there's no expectation, no matter what you do, no matter
I love you. Yeah.
I'm still gonna do whatever it takes to make sure our relationship is the best that it can ever be.
Choice and acceptance.
100%, and this is what I'm saying. I agree with you. So remember, I'm agreeing.
First,
doing the agreeing thing again.
rare stuff going on right now.
So
you know?
obviously,
He's doing it for the cameras, man.
Listen, it's 2021, big man. You know what I'm saying? Look,
man,
obviously, I'm a new man, bro. Fake free and that
keep
hit me.
going. Yeah, man, keep shining.
Anyway, but look,
Colours, man.
Keep shining.
See, let's look bright, just all bright. You get me? Anyway, but look, what I'm trying to say is, when it comes down to it, I think that is for me the most, or the closest for me, the definition you could get to love. So when we're now attributing that to a relationship, how many times can you say you've been in a relationship where you said, do you know what, despite what I don't really like about some of the things that you do, you know, despite some of the things you might not necessarily represent in being who you are, I still love you, and I use the word love in the context of the definition you've given it. How many times can we say that? And truthfully, I don't know, because I think it's a build up. The relationships that we have, where we are as close to the people that we would say we love like that. And obviously, as you said, Jay, we can love different people in different ways.
Yeah, of course.
So
naturally.
the love we will have for our mothers will be different to the love we'll have for our partners. But ultimately, you would want the result of that love to be the same. So
I think there's like a line of it where it's like, I know love goes in different ways, but there's a line where the love means that I care for you, I'm going to do what I can for you. Things like, there's some things that overlap in it.
For real.
How do you know that question where they say, how did you know when you fell in love with me? Like, you know that, when did you fall in love with me? How did you know you love me?
I think that's a fairy tale.
No, it is. It is. But let's be realistic.
That's what's basically on is the fact
extra,
that
bro.
If you're in a relationship,
you're
you're gonna at some point. The first time I said I loved you. I remember that time 5 years ago when I said that. So, but realistically, there's this guy. He's the most fruitiest guy. It's fruited in his lemonade, man. Me. Anyways, me. All people. Wait, he's like
love, man, love. No, I love
this
love.
guy.
I fall in love quicker than drop the hat off your head, big man.
So your answer to his question is bare times.
Yes.
Yeah.
All the times. All the times. No, I'm joking.
But what I'm saying is that I'm not trying to put a definition on love, because I don't think we can do that, because it's gonna end up just being a list that we think it is.
Yeah.
But there is a point where you say, I remember this happened and I knew I loved her, or him, for example. is that real? Like, because I don't personally think love is an emotion. I just think it's a thing, a word, the only word we can use to attach our emotions to it.
Isn't that everything?
Nah, man. I'd say
In the same way, the anger. Anger is the only word that we have. We attach something to a feeling that we have. It's just an understanding. We're trying to attach.
I don't think so. Because you could say happiness. You could say whatever kind of positive words you'd attribute to love. Mm-hmm. I don't think you can.
Love is an accumulation of
love is not a descriptive. It's not a descriptive.
That's what I'm trying to say.
say.
Love isn't happiness. Love isn't.
It's
anger,
an accumulation
of
those
prosperity.
It's
Love
a
is for me as 1,000,000%.
That's my point.
It's a combination of all of those.
So how could it be an emotion?
So then what you're saying is, right, I think it's bigger than just, if we're saying happiness and warmth and whatever else is part of love, then love
They are
is,
the emotion.
is
Watch this
bigger
though.
than
Yeah.
just happiness or
But then watch
emotion.
this though. Like now we're saying all of this. I now believe that love is an energy above all of emotions. If you look at it like this, you say, how can it be an emotion? If you put 2 shots of vodka, lemonade, and juice in a cup, it's still a drink. It's a cocktail now. Do you see what I'm saying? So you can put all these different emotions in a cup. You've now made a new drink, which is love. If you see what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
So love is a
No, I
cocktail.
hear you, I hear you.
Love is a
Real talk.
cocktail
It's a
of
cocktail.
emotions.
Yeah.
1,000,000%.
But then that,
But
you
my
saying that,
point
that means
is,
that
right?
love can't be an emotion on its own. Then
So
if
you
it's
wouldn't
taking
then
all them,
describe that new cocktail. Sorry, you wouldn't describe an ingredient of that cocktail to be love. You'd say no, the vodka and the juice
Yeah, for example,
turned it into
Why
that.
would
to
you
make
use
no,
it
for
in the
example,
same
no,
way
wait.
you
For
make
example,
a
for example,
sex on the beach, bruv.
exactly. But sex on the beach, you can't have sex on the beach without X, Y, Z. Do you see what I'm saying? So it needs all of whatever it is for you to have in your cup to be love, and then you give it the title of love. So a cocktail, the name of a cocktail is the name of the cocktail because it has X, Y, and Z
in it. Yeah.
to make that cocktail. And I think everybody has their own equation to make their own love cocktail.
But now, okay, cool. So let's use sex on the beach. Right? I can't remember what's in it, but
I don't know
it's a
what's in
fruity one, obviously.
Leo, what's in
so
it, man?
like, so no, what I'm saying here is that if you take sex on the beach and whatever ingredients are in it, if I give you that drink and say, what does it taste like? You're not going to say sex on the beach. You're going to say pineapple juice and vodka and rum or whatever, right? So what I'm trying to say is that not the reason why I don't think love is an emotion, but to use your analogy, you can't use love as a descriptive word of an emotion because the cocktail of emotions that you put in your cup can't
I
be
get what you're
called
saying.
love. You see what I'm trying to say?
I get what
So
you're
I
saying.
You wouldn't say,
hear
what's that
you.
taste
Love
like?
isn't the emotion. Love is
The
love
result.
is
It's
the
a result.
factor
It's a result.
of
Yeah.
these accumulative emotions.
Yeah.
So for
I
that,
get you.
so okay, then that being said, then put aside different people and different ways you can love them. If you need X, Y, and Z to feel that level of love, I believe you're not going to have a lot of that in your life. So to answer your question, I think only one or two times really you're going to have that cocktail.
because what I'd say to it, like,
Because other cocktails might not be that cocktail.
see, yeah, and what I'd say is that so for example, now imagine now sitting here right now, we're all at a stage in our life where we're in love with someone, yeah, and we think this is the one, the love, that one love that you hear about on seeing movies, not like in it. So are we saying that every single past relationship that we said I'm in love
That's my
really was
point.
bullshit?
That's
not.
what I'm saying. One, because if you have had every time you're with someone, well, most of the time, you hope and you usually say, "Oh, this is the one. This is the one. This is the one." If you've had 10 relationships, you can't have been in love 10 times.
No.
I don't think that's possible. In my opinion, I
I
don't think
agree,
that's possible.
I agree.
Because if we're saying it's an accumulation of emotions, right? There's an emotion in everything. In every relationship, there's a build up of emotions. But I don't believe that you can. Even me, I think of past relationships and I can pinpoint who I may or may not feel I was actually in love with.
Yeah.
And if I now fast forward to now, I'm like, well, wasn't I?
So-
Yeah, but the difference.
Sorry, Jay, let me slam in. So off the back of that, can you, instead of saying can you be in love multiple times, can you feel that love multiple times but only be in it totally once? So can you have some point, like say with the ex, you feel like, yo, right now, I'm in love. If this was forever, I'm good, but you felt that, and then obviously down the line it dissolves, whatever.
Yeah.
With the person with you now, you're in that feeling, and that feeling's
No,
stretched and carried on and carried on.
100%.
Yeah, but again, from my perspective, I wouldn't have, even though some of the girlfriends, I've already had a handful of girlfriends, I would say that's my girl. Out of all of them, I had the deepest love for one of them, yeah? And now I look back on it, it was because I had accepted certain things. It wasn't all about the emotion was there, the chemistry was there, the vibes was there, and I could feel it. The energy was strong. Like our chemistry was peak. But what made me, I've had that with other people. Not on that level, similar levels, because man's a passionate man, you get me? Another talk, another time.
And I'm the fruity one.
You're fruity, I'm passionate, two different things. You get me? So, but my point is that it was one particular person that I accepted a lot more things, I tolerated a lot more things, and I chose to do more things on top of the feelings. So for me, that was my differentiation.
So, you know how this, because I'll think about something you said. You know how they say, I didn't love her, I wasn't in love with her, I just loved her.
Yeah.
What's the difference between those two? Because if to throw it back at you guys, saying that love is an emotion, how can you be in love with someone? Sorry, love someone but not be in love with them.
Because people use that word too loosely.
I agree.
That's what I was saying.
People, you can watch something on TV, you see a presenter, I love him.
Yeah, you know what it is? It's like,
do you see what I'm saying?
It's a justification.
This is what I attribute to it. Like, imagine programs like Love Island. They're together 2 weeks. I love you. I love you.
Infatuation.
It's like they're only saying that because they're in an environment where they're stuck together. They're with each other inside out. So they feel like that at that point. They felt love. It could be genuine, but they felt love in that point. But are they genuinely in love with each other? I don't think so.
No,
they just love each other in that point.
But
because
again, it comes down to how you're defining love. For those two people, it might be love.
That's infatuation, though. That's when you
you're in love.
I
think it's infatuation. Yeah.
It is infatuation.
Yeah, but do you think you can be in love with someone without the relationship being tested?
Tested in what way?
For example, all right, so you're together and everything's blessed, everything's cool, and then I don't know.
You need to have a few fiery arguments.
Not even arguments, situations like
Yeah.
a man loses his job, or drinking problems, or phobias. Or
I don't
my point
need to
is
have that.
okay. So my point is that could you test?
I don't think it's crucial, but I think it helps.
No.
Okay, I'm not saying yes or no. I'm asking like, do you think you can claim love without having some turbulence?
That's a good question.
I'm gonna say no. You don't need to have turbulence. I think it's a choice. All right, I'm gonna give you an example. Right, I had a conversation with my girl, and basically I opened up my phone, right, and she saw some pictures of another girl.
Jesus.
It happens, man.
I did it for bad.
No,
Listen, certain group chat stuff gets sent.
So she saw some pictures of another girl, and so she clocked it. But I'm continuing.
Did she say anything?
No, she didn't. And at first, she didn't.
Okay.
So she clocked it, but her demeanor completely changed. So I was like, "What's going on?"
Did you clock that she clocked?
I clocked that she clocked.
You can feel that switch.
You feel the vibe,
of course,
yeah.
of course. So I clocked, and I was like, "What's going on?" And she's like, "Oh, I thought I saw some pictures of another girl," and I was like, "You did." Hey, look. No. It's literally this. I was like, "You did." She's like, oh, "Okay, why?" So I said, "Oh, I was putting together a Moonpig card, family friend, whatever. Like we've grown up literally together. Craig, Sydney, by the way. So anyway, family friend, pulling together a Moonpig card. It's her birthday, this, that, and the other. So obviously, I've had to take pictures off of her Instagram. My mum sent me some pictures and whatever else. Anyway, long and short is I've explained it to her. So, but for her, she was like, "Okay, you can tell me this, but there is now a choice. She can say
I believe that, or I don't.
I can choose to believe, or I can choose to need proof."
Yeah.
So she was like, "Okay, I've been in circumstances, and men will say whatever to get out of a situation." So she was like, "Okay, where's the card?"
Oh, raw.
Yeah. So,
But she's not in the wrong for saying that.
I agree. So I said, this is me having a conversation. I said, you know what? I feel a little bit insulted by that, but I know I ain't done nothing wrong.
Hide.
Exactly. So I
here's
said,
your
look,
proof.
I'll show you.
Yeah.
So we had the conversation, right? And it wasn't heated. It wasn't. But that in that circumstance, that could be a test, right? That could be defined as a test.
Yeah.
Now for her, the test is this guy telling the truth, and is he saying or doing what he said he's done? And in that circumstance, I was. So in essence, she has now some sort of recollection of, okay, Leo is a man of his word, and
because he is shown
right. X, Y, or Z.
Right.
I have seen a picture of a man in her phone,
yeah,
and never even thought to ask the question, purely because I'm not the type of person who feels insecure in those circumstances.
I was gonna say that's confidence.
So she opened up a group chat, and for me, it's just like, it's just not a thing. I don't care.
Yeah.
It's your phone.
And that's trust, isn't it?
Exactly.
That's trust.
So
not to say she doesn't trust you, but
so she said, blind trust isn't something that she prepared to go down the route of, and she would need a build up of trust. And I said to her, well, I'll be honest with you, I'm not going to do that again. I said, that's
one time enough.
I said, this is a one-time thing. And she said, you know what? What's to say I'll need you to though? And that was very fair. Like I said, it was a very open discussion. It weren't heated. Yeah. She felt a certain type of way.
That's mature,
she needed a level of reassurance in that moment. And so going back to the point about love and obviously needing a test, I don't think it's a need for a test. It's about what any one person in that relationship needs. So for me, I didn't need to test her.
She did
when I saw that picture of the guy. And I'd seen the picture of the guy maybe 3-4 weeks before that. I've never, to that moment, I said, she was like, do you think her response was unreasonable? And I said, from my perspective.
To the pictures?
Yeah. So I said, from my perspective, yes, because I don't think like that. Yeah. But from looking at it from the way you obviously approached it, no, I understand.
I appreciate why
you asked the question. Right. And I'm happy to give you the reassurance you need in this circumstance. But going forward, I would appreciate if you take what I say, because I'm not trying to be, you know what I'm saying? I'm not trying to do all this.
So let's throw in, sorry, so let me throw the word love in, obviously I'm assuming, but take the context of you and put it out. If a person is in a relationship and goes through that scenario Leo just explained, if a woman doesn't love a man, does she ask that question? Does she give a shit enough? Let's say you're seeing each other and you're interested in whatever. Maybe, do you ask that question?
Maybe she asks the question, maybe she just don't care for the response. Maybe no matter what you say, it's going to be, well, this is what I think, you get me? Whereas I think, obviously, because she must love Leo and Leo loves her, it must be the point where
she cares enough to
I care enough to let you explain it. And
stop justifying her actions, man.
From what I got, right, again, from Leo's example, and it all comes down to we're human end of the day.
It's a choice.
And we're individuals end of the day. So everybody's going to take it however they take it. For example, in his example, both of them had both opposing perspective of the same one concept, topic or whatever. Yeah. She thought this, and she was so far that way. He thought the same topic, he was so far that way. It's an individual thing. Yeah. No, so in terms of something else, I was thinking is if people can have that deep-rooted 90s R&B love. Again, it's an individual thing multiple times, because some people may have had it and it didn't go well, they will never love again. People are like that.
Yeah.
Do you see what I'm saying? There's big people like that. Yeah. Big George Clooney said he will never marry again. Yeah. I don't know if he did. I think the same with Denzel, maybe. I can't remember.
He's married, bro.
Is he married?
He's still married. He's been with.
All right, someone else then. There's big people that have gone there and they said, you know what, I'm never going that again.
Yeah, I hear that.
So it's an individual thing. You lot, to conclude, how many times have you lot been, actually now, you lot could get you lot in some hot water. So what I will say is, I think it's possible, but it's rare. And I think it should be rare, because that's a lot of you're giving out.
Yeah, 100%.
Do you know what would be interesting, right? If it would be great if there were some women here and we could ask this exact question.
I say it's coming.
Because obviously it definitely is coming, but for us, we can talk as men, but we'll never know. Like, if you ask a woman now, or the women you're with, like, do you think you love me? Cool, but have you been in love more than once before me? And
I don't want to know that, though, to be fair.
Say again?
I wouldn't want to know.
No, I'm saying it in jest. I'm saying it in jest. I'm not saying ask them a question. I'm saying it in jest. Would a woman say they've loved more than just the partner that they're with? Because women, as we know, are more emotional creatures, I guess, and we're the logical ones, right? Typically. So the answer to that probably for a woman would be, I've loved a few times. Yeah. Maybe, I don't know. But that's why I think it'd be interesting.
I understand that, because realistically, being at the age as we are, imagine if you met a girl now, or with your missus, when you spoke to her and said, have you ever been in love? And she said no. I'd be like, that's a bit sad. Like,
that is.
I disagree. I don't think it is sad, because sometimes you really preserve that for someone.
No, but I'm saying being that one deep of saying, have you been in love? Like, have you felt love in a relationship? If we were to say, oh no, I've never felt that I've fell in love with someone, not been in that one undeniable.
I know a girl who's never had a relationship. I think she's mid-20s, never had a relationship, and me having conversations is like a lot of my conversations would be about relationships because obviously that's usually your job and your relationships is a big part of your life. But then that person can't have those conversations because they don't have context.
But you may not have met no one to fall that deeply in love with.
Yeah, no, that's fine.
What you reckon at our age?
Yeah.
Reckon?
It could happen. It's rare, but it could happen.
It can,
No, it does happen. I'm just saying, is that because they haven't let themselves feel that emotion? There's something's happened. They've been standoffish.
Possibly.
Yeah.
It could be from a number of things.
Can I throw a curveball? And I'm trying to keep on the same pattern as love, right? Who do you think is more? Which one of us do you think seeks love more, men or women?
I was gonna say I was.
It's a human thing. Nah, bro, that's a human thing. It's a human thing, love. It's a human thing.
No. I'm
It's
not
not a case
I'm not
of-
trying to segregate it. I'm saying, like I just said, there are theories that men are more logical and women are more emotional. So by that, we're saying that love is an emotion or an accumulation of emotions. Which one of us, in terms of species, male or female, are more inclined to seek love?
Yeah, but just because they're emotional doesn't mean they're more inclined to seek love more than a man.
So what's
Emotion can just be from security.
I think that
It could be just from, no, it could be they want security. They want companionship.
Who?
A woman. Do you see what I'm saying? In terms of
I think
emotion.
I think what a lot of people forget as well, women are actually more selective than men.
Oh, 100.
If I was to base it solely on that, I would say men probably seek love more so than women. However, I think the natural order of things, where women are defined usually as nurturers and natural family and homemakers, and men are often described as conquerors, and there's the concept of a man, which is why a lot of people sometimes they say that's why men cheat, or that's why they say men.
Why are you throwing man under the bus for no reason, bro?
Shut up, man.
I know.
So
Just throwing us all under the bus.
us all, I'm not a part of that crew, big man. You get me?
So men cheat.
Is
I'm
it-
done, man. Now
You're chatting rubbish, bro. Anyway, look, you're making me lose my point. Everything. I'm just basically saying that when it comes to it, the concept of love is human. I think that's what you was trying to say. The concept of love is human, and I think in essence, when we look at whether one is more or less likely to sway towards it or not, I think as human beings, we're
wanna
all
be
drawn,
loved.
we're all drawn to it.
Yeah.
It's just for different reasons that we're drawn to it. So a man will respond to love for particular reasons,
I agree
and a
with that.
woman will respond to love
Yeah.
for particular reasons. And the two marry up, and that's why I think men and women are very different. Well, it's almost like a piece to a puzzle.
Yeah, of
We
course.
can't be the same because to
It
join
wouldn't
up.
work.
no, yeah.
So that being said, you can fall in love multiple times, but one,
In your opinion.
in your opinion, but I think, my opinion or
Yeah,
your opinion?
your opinion.
Yeah, in my opinion, I think you can, but I think there's a lot to consider if you do so, in my opinion. Yeah?
Yeah, I'll
Anyone
go.
want to jump on
In your
anything else? In my opinion, you
Oh,
can,
okay.
but it's a choice.
You're right.
Yeah, see this guy, bro.
I know, bro.
He loves to slide to me, you know. Man was clear on goal, you know. Man,
Stand up, you know.
what? 2 foot challenge.
David Luigi, you know.
I was clear as well.
10 times, bro.
You're clear, bro. We're clear on goal,
I
you know.
was done.
And he hit the post, bro. Don't
Nah,
hit it. What are you doing?
Nah, but he's the type of man that you round the keeper, you go for the tap in, he's rolling in, he'll come and blast it.
Yeah,
Come on.
Come
on, yeah. He won't celebrate with you at all.
I know,
Like,
he's
even-
gone to the crowd.
Come on, yeah.
Hey, what's that goal with Ronaldo? And he chips it. And
Yeah.
that's you.
Yeah.
That's you, bro.
I'm
But
a glory man, bro.
I would say to get back to it, I would say no. I don't believe you can. I don't believe that you can be in love more than once, but I feel like you can love someone more than love people more than once. If that makes sense.
What's the
Because
difference?
Because I feel like when you look back on past emotions that you've had, you'll think, that person was like a rider. They were cool. Like I loved them. But I don't know if I could. I don't know.
So is that you? But is that you using the word incorrectly, or is that you actually loving the person?
How do you mean?
So you're saying, I like that person. They was cool. I love them. Is that you using the word love incorrectly, or did you actually love them? I think it's more people using it too loosely as opposed to actually being in love.
That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah,
That's why
actually,
if you use the real hardcore,
I changed my mind actually. Yeah,
I think
no,
you
changed
can,
my
but
mind.
it's rare because after the first time you're going to be a lot more conscious of it.
Perhaps
so you're not going
there's
to do it
different
a
levels
lot.
of love.
And I think
That's what I think.
I
Yeah.
think in the grand scheme of things as well, I think what people forget, we grow as people. We're always constantly changing.
Yeah.
21-year-old Marlon is different to 31-year-old Marlon.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
41-year-old Marlon is going to be completely different to 31-year-old Marlon. You might have a few kids, you might be married. You know,
the type of love changes.
Yeah, bro. There are
Bro,
things
heartbreak
about
Marlon
circumstances.
will be different to not heartbreak.
No, I hear you. No,
Why everyday heartbreak, bro?
But it's true though.
Why everyday heartbreak?
Because
Not every day, but I'm speaking from my experience, bro. That shit changed me, bro.
I hear that.
Bro, the first time I had real heartbreak.
No, but I remember I'm with you because remember we were in Valencia and that we was. You know what I'm saying? We had some deep conversations.
Now watch it. Remember?
Cool.
Yeah, I think you can have one true deep love, but I reckon you can feel love multiple times.
I think the likelihood of feeling love multiple times is slim, but I think you can feel it as many times as you're presented with it.
Yeah, I think you can definitely love more than once, but I think the intensity of that love is different.
So the moral of the story: preserve your love, but show some love.
And don't be heartbroken.
No, be heartbroken.
But feel it and learn from it and grow from it.
Yeah,
and go Valencia.
In Valencia.
Valencia
To Valencia.
to Valencia. Peace out.